Greetings and welcome into Bettor's Last Stand. We got Matt, Cooley, and Chris here again. Coach, he's about permanently gone from the show, but anyway, he's out at Wheeling College again tonight, as usual, working the Cardinals versus Wesleyan tonight, West Virginia Wesleyan. So, guys, welcome back to another episode of Bettor's Last Stand. This is our 26th show, if you can believe that. Started way back in August, so thanks everybody for joining us. What's going on in the Pine Room? We had a 3-hour show on our Watchdog network, our Watchdog partners. Again, thanks to them for everything they've done. We got to fill in for Seth Stasky on Monday, a 3-hour show, and we interviewed one of Cooley's boys on the Miami Heat, Haywood Highsmith, who helped the Heat to a nice game last night, Cools.
Yeah, big win over the Celtics, and Haywood played a big role.
He did. That's good to see. It was nice to talk to him. Good interview with him. We talked to Kelly Tucker from West Banco Arena and the Capitol Theater. It was a good time. We're not used to doing a 3-hour show, but it was fun. Both of you guys called in, got to participate, so thanks for that.
Yeah,
so I hope people enjoyed listening to it. Chris, you said we did pretty well then, huh?
And I thought it was great. Like I said, the only thing I really missed was the Kelly Tucker interview because I was
had a bad tire.
dealing with my flat tire. But you guys were great, and I was curious. You guys ended up telling me that it went faster than you expected.
Yeah,
because 3 hours, you hear 3 hours, it's like, oh man, that's going to take forever.
Yeah, it was like three like of our shows in one, but it's like you put it in a pressure cooker. It goes real fast. So. You just do 20 minutes or whatever, 22 minutes, 25 minutes, whatever it is, but depending on top or bottom, and then
you had no dead air. I mean, you guys filled it up well.
We did all right. It was
enjoyable.
Hopefully, everybody enjoyed that. Well, we're getting close to Super Bowl time, guys. We got only 3 more games left in the football season, which is that's music to my ears and probably my wallet too. But it's I'll be happy when it's over. It's run its course for me.
Yep.
Be sure and get on your Super Bowl squares. Stop down the Warwood Vets Club. See Commander Scotty or Mark or myself, and we'll take care of you. We got $50 boards and $100 boards. So if you haven't done that, stop down. The boards are filling up pretty quick right now. We sold a bunch of squares this week already, and expect to sell more. So if you know anybody who hasn't got on, spread the word, and we'll be down and around the club this weekend, I'm sure, mostly on Sundays. So stop by and get on the board. Chris, I'm going to open up with this Baseball Hall of Fame. Just makes me sick to my stomach. I know it's not really a betting thing, and you really can't offer some of the offshores do have it, but it's so rigged, and you can kind of tell who's going to get in, and these writers and these voters, just the way they hold grudges against all the guys that tested positive or even in theory were positive for steroids, and then that Kurt Schilling's not allowed in because of his politics, and it's a joke.
Has nothing to do with
Scott Rowland being in there is an absolute travesty. That guy is just an okay player.
I don't even know who that is.
There you go.
Right.
They said he made it. I was like,
But you've heard of A-Rod probably, and Pete Rose and Barry Bonds.
The Hall of Fame should be limited to legends.
And how about another one that I was really disappointed about, and I think is absolutely ridiculous, is Manny Ramirez. Barely got any votes, which is absurd to me. Probably after Tony Gwynn, probably the best right-handed hitter after Tony Gwynn, in my opinion. Chris, you would know. I mean, Wade Boggs was a lefty, but as far as great hitters, Manny Ramirez was one of the best ever. He was pretty clutch too.
Yes.
Some huge playoff home runs in a town that hadn't won a World Series in 100 years. And him and Ortiz, what they did, I don't know. It just seems weird to me that guys like that aren't in, and it frustrates me. And you mentioned some guys last night, Dave Parker, and what were some of the other guys?
There was Dave Parker, and here's some guys that I think Kenny Laughlin's a borderline. I mean, all these guys, Don Mattingly, Andres Galarraga, Tim Raines.
Great players.
I mean, what did Scott Rowland ever really do?
He was the most boring, average. I mean, he was a solid player. He was a guy was never flashy. He never had any big seasons in my recollection.
No.
He was a good player on good teams most of the time.
And I think he won a World Series, I think, in 06.
Did he win that? I think
it was at St. Louis, I think.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah. But just like a guy you could count on in a lineup. He's a good player, but Hall of Fame, not even close. I wonder. I just wonder if that was because was he a good interview? Did the media like him? They must have, because for him to get that kind of a turnout in votes.
Well, and here's what I don't understand how this voting works. And these guys are freaking morons. But it's that when Roland's first year on the ballot, he got 10% of the vote. And so now, how did he suddenly get up to 75% of the vote? Like, what did he do? He batted .280.
Do you think these guys pay these guys off to vote for him? It might happen. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
The standards are so low now, and
just you can only get one guy in. Like, he's the only guy that met the criteria to get in. Like, what is that? I mean, that to me, Scott Rowland having his own Hall of Fame ceremony is it's an atrocity. It's terrible.
It's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment to the Hall, and some of and a lot of these guys that had really, really good careers, great careers that aren't in. Like, and when I was listening to Madden before I came down here, and he mentioned Bill Madlock. And I don't know if you remember.
Well,
Bill
I mean,
Madlock,
I don't, but I remember of him. I know the stories.
He had about the same amount of career hits, just over 2,000, but he batted .305 for his career, and he had he won 4 batting titles.
Right.
And it's like Scott Rowland never led the league in any major category. Not one.
I bet he wasn't. It'd be a stretch for him to be top 5.
I think what he did get Rookie of the Year, but other than that, and they were making a comparison to Harold Baines.
Yeah.
Now, Harold Baines.
I thought Harold Baines was a much better player, great hitter.
But he still wasn't Hall of Fame worthy.
Probably not. Probably because he didn't play the field most of his career.
But Harold Baines played a ton of games, but they and I saw it on an article. They said, well, he's kind of like in the Hall of Fame for like stat compilers because he played for so long.
He did play a long time.
But I mean, it's just now you're just getting above average guys in, and Scott Rowland has no business being in the Hall of Fame, none whatsoever.
It's pretty sad that's what we've gone to. I mean, all of them. I think the NFL Hall of Fame is dipped down pretty badly right now. A lot of guys I remember being pretty good that are in there, and it's sad, but
I think it's awful.
What are we going to do to stop it, huh? Probably
we don't
nothing.
Get a vote.
We don't get to vote. We don't have any say. We're stuck here in West Virginia.
Not yet, at least.
Maybe someday, we'll go out in front of Cooperstown and do a podcast and tell them how stupid they are. Anyway, speaking of stupid, how about Big Mike back in action? Dallas doing what we knew they would do. I feel like their defense played good enough for them to win that game, too. But I thought just some of the stupid decisions, the field goal decisions and the not in field goal decisions, and then you waste 40 seconds to decide what you're going to do, and just typical Mike McCarthy stuff. What were your guys' observations from the games this weekend? I thought the games overall weren't very good. I thought maybe Say's game was the best, at least as far as intrigue, but the other games all sucked.
I thought that should have been the night game instead of the Cowboys 49ers, but I think the last play of that Cowboys game is the perfect example.
Yeah, you're right.
I was just going to say, summed it up.
Yeah, absolutely
perfect example for Big Mike. Sorry, but jeez, man.
So was that formation going to confuse the Niners?
It did.
Like, oh my God!
Like it really did.
Shit, and then just to have Ezekiel get blown up
and
like
they
that.
ran a slant.
That's fitting too.
They could have ran a slant out of a regular formation.
Yeah.
I don't know where they were going
Big
with
Mike with his trickery.
Yeah, it was very, very nice. Very deceptive, and now Zeke's going to take a pay cut.
They lined up and called timeout and still came back out and did it again.
Yeah.
So
I just wonder, what are we paying these guys for? How does Jerry Jones continue to employ a guy like this? There's got to be someone smarter out there. There has to be.
Who's taking more heat? Is it Mike or is it Dak? I mean, I really follow
package deal
because
Prescott couldn't play 2 games in a row. Dallas is done forever. I mean, they have contracts now.
Well,
CeeDee Lamb will end up leaving. They're the only good player they have on offense. Tony Pollard broke his fucking leg because they went for it on a 4th down. If it had kicked the field goal, chances are that play doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So great job, Mike. Get your best player's leg broke, and and your quarterback's awful.
Yeah, and what's he making? Like Prescott's making 30.
Yeah,
$5
and Pollard he hasn't even got a second deal yet. So he's going. He
probably sees the writing on the wall because
if he run for the hills, Pollard. As soon as you get your leg healed, Even with the broken leg, get on the run. Yeah. Get out of there. Go somewhere else where you're going to be used as a feature back and be away from that mess.
Well, and that was like last year. Remember, and I saw a highlight when who were they playing? I think it was the Niners last year. And they're playing, and when Dak ran that 14 seconds ago, and he runs it up the middle.
Slides or dives or whatever it was. It's amazing. It really is. Every year that team ends the same way. Mm-hmm. And they used to be so great when they had Jimmy Johnson and that whole complement of players.
Barry Switzer.
That core, Barry, he kind of just inherited the pieces.
Kidding about that.
But he was, honestly, he's probably better than McCarthy. Yes. I mean, but then again, they did have veteran-led teams there then, but and Jerry Jones wasn't as big of an impact, but you see what he's just destroying the franchise. Yeah. His grandkids ought to be poisoning him or something to get rid of him. They may never win ever.
Well, I'm surprised he doesn't have cirrhosis of the liver yet. For as much as that guy drinks,
he looks kind of jaundiced. He might. But you know what? A guy as rich as him, he probably has 3 livers in the freezer ready to go for a transplant. I mean, fuck, if I was him, I'd probably do the same thing. But anyway, what other observations? Obviously, the Mahomes, that injury is going to loom large. We'll see. I mean, it's. I don't know. I mean, Mahomes at 50% is probably better than a lot of people, so we'll see what happens. Thought Chad Henne did good when he came into the game. I don't know. What do you guys think? The Chiefs, I mean, it's not going to be an easy game regardless, but do they have any chance if he doesn't play? Probably not.
I don't think so.
If he doesn't play, they're done. There's no way they beat the Bengals without him.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And that, what's he got? A high ankle sprain, right?
Yeah.
That's going to hinder him.
Yeah, it definitely will. It's going to be tough for him to do it, but if anybody can, he can. He's, in my opinion, by far the best quarterback in the league. But at 50% mobility, he makes a lot of plays with his feet that people wouldn't realize. But
right.
We'll see. Observations from the NFC, the Giants and Eagles game. That was terrible.
Yeah, that was about what I expected.
Mm-hmm. I didn't see one. Well, when I turned it on, I forget what I was doing. It was 21-0.
Well, Brian Daboll, who I praised on this show about his coaching, the stage may have been a little too big for him. He goes for it on that 4th and 8. They're down 7-0. I don't know what he was thinking there. 4th and 8 on like the Eagles' 49-yard line or 46 or something. Wow. Stupid decision. And Danny Dimes gets just like trucked, and then it was all downhill, blood in the water, and that was the end. They could have pinned him, punted and pinned him in, at least make him drive, but no. And then Danny Dimes turns into Pumpkin as he throws an interception on the next drive. And that was it, Chris. And it was 21-0, and then it was time to go to bed for me. So the Giants, So I
didn't miss anything.
A good, nothing. Yeah. A good season for the Giants, nonetheless. They can add some pieces. They'll be a little bit better next year, I think. Still think Daboll will do a good job, but who knows? And then the Bengals-Bills, the one game we haven't talked about. Bills, you could tell they were out of steam. They had nothing. That was the first drive of the game. I told Coach I thought the game was over. Of course, he was very positive because we needed the over, and no, the Bills will score. I don't think they are going to score. I didn't know they'd only score 10, but I didn't think they'd score more than 2 touchdowns because they just looked lethargic. They looked exhausted, like it was like they were relieved their buddy was alive. I don't know. But, I mean, that's an emotional toll on people. Now, I don't excuse it by any means. I mean, those people that paid to go to that game had to be never You get a home game and it's snow.
Yeah,
you lose. You weren't even really in the game at all. There was never a chance that Buffalo was going to win that game from the very beginning.
No, just watch it. You could tell. And I'm not a fan of either team. Just a casual observer. And it's like, drive by driver. You're thinking Buffalo just doesn't have it.
Nothing.
There was. You're right. Their tank was empty.
We talked about it on here several weeks in a row about Buffalo just not looking as good as they had prior to like Thanksgiving. So I don't know. If you're Buffalo, I think you go back to their drawing board. I think you got to add some more pieces on offense. You got to draft a couple of receivers or something because trucking John Brown and Cole Beasley and these guys out there. Now, I'm not a big fan of this Gabe Davis. I think he's either home run or bust. And he looks immature to me. And then Stephon Diggs act like an idiot again. He did that with the Vikings. As soon as he has something go wrong, he pouts like a little baby. Like, Josh Allen played through an injury all season. I'm not excusing it, but he's still pretty good, and I think he'll bounce back next year. He'll be healthy. Bills are still in a decent spot, but Diggs has to grow up.
Well, and that's the thing, though, Matt, and you see it league-wide. to me, it's a judge looking at these guys in their character. Right. You know, because everything's, hey, it's hunky dory when we're winning, and I'm getting my stats, and I got my contract. Shit, I'm the happiest guy. I'll be friendly with the media. You know, you get on social media, I'm happy. But man, when things start to go wrong, I mean, they point fingers, they talk shit on people, they're angry. Like they don't.
Cowboy guys did the same thing. I saw.
They don't want to. They don't want to work through adversity, or when there's obstacles. It's just like, well, hell with working extra hard. I'm just going to point the finger and just be angry. It's stupid.
Blame somebody else and then go somewhere else.
Yeah,
right.
That's our society now.
And what do those teammates think? I mean, Josh Allen, he's a gamer. I mean, I don't know.
He is.
He's good for them, and I think he's great. I wish the Browns had him.
Yeah.
But I mean, he pretty much carried that team all year.
He did.
Because they have zero running game.
Right. He's their best running back. I mean, that Cook kid might end up being okay.
I'm sure he had the most rushing touchdowns.
Yes.
And then wasn't he on the sidelines kind of like getting in his face a little bit? And Josh Allen,
throw me the ball. But that was the same thing. He was loving Kirk Cousins when he was getting his stats, but then he started playing better teams, and he couldn't get the ball to him as easily, and the dude flipped out. He's nuts, and he runs off and escapes the media before the end of the game. He went to the dressing room before everybody got dressed and left, and just unprofessional.
It is.
And for a guy that makes that kind of money, and if I'm the Bills, I am fining him, and I'm telling him that's your last chance. If you do it again, I don't care how good you are, we will get rid of you, and we will make sure you go somewhere that the quarterback sucks, because I know Cousins is not great. He's better than average, but barely.
He can get guys paid though.
Right. He like paid. Himself too. Yeah. And then Josh Allen is a top 3 quarterback in the AFC and a top 5 guy in the whole league probably. Mm-hmm. So let him bounce back. I think they'll be fine. But Diggs, that would rub me the wrong way if I was a Bills fan and a Bills front office guy. You hate to see that for a franchise. And you just had your friend out there almost die on the field, and then you act like a little baby over. It was disappointing, but you went through a lot. Things were not normal, so you just chalk it up and get better next year. But
and then just be thankful that your teammates survived. And I know obviously it's an emotional game and tempers flare and all that, but this guy basically cheated death once, twice, whatever. And I know there's so many the high stakes in these games, but put it in perspective. Like I understand you're pissed, but just. I mean, you win together and you lose together.
Right.
But for him just to act just petulant.
And do you think Josh Allen wouldn't be throwing him the ball if he was open or able to get it to him without being pressured? I mean, he's his best target. Why wouldn't he throw it to you? It wouldn't make any sense.
Well, no, the morning of the game, he told the offensive coordinator,
let's freeze him out today.
Let's freeze him out. Yeah, just like the weather.
Makes a lot of sense.
It's just stupid. It's just stupid. So, and when you see that, and we see it repeatedly with different players, they are so easy to root against.
They are. Mm-hmm. They are, and he's starting to walk down the path of Antonio Brown.
Yep.
I hope not, but
he's talented as hell.
Yeah, hopefully he grows up a little bit. But anyway, unders 4-0 this weekend. Crazy. Last week it was 6-0 to the over. This week 4-0 to the under. So that is a complete reversal from the wild card round. So keep an eye on that. I don't know what I like yet in these 2 games this weekend. Underdogs 2-2. We talked about Big Mike's performance. Obviously, Mahomes, huge factor on this line with the Bengals and the Chiefs. The Bengals now are around 1.5. The Chiefs opened around 3 at a lot of places. That was gone immediately. People betting the Bengals, huge bets coming in on the Bengals, $220K. I saw at Caesars on the Bengals, $110K on the Bengals. So big bets coming on Sunday night when the Bengals opened a slight dog with Mahomes' injury looming. A couple of the professionals that I listened to on the radio, long-time bookmakers, had the Chiefs around 5, assuming that Mahomes would be healthy. So they thought 5.5, and obviously they dropped it a little bit with the uncertainty of his injury. So then the Bengals took all the money. The Bengals went to the favorite, and then last night a huge operator, like a big contingent, who is like professional bettors. They all pool in their money, and they threw down heavy on the Chiefs yesterday. So that made people take a notice there. It was Chiefs plus 2.5. and now it's back down to Bengals 1.5 range. So you got some buyback there. So seesaw battle here. You never know what to expect. What are your guys' thoughts? Do you think that he gives it a go? I think he'll play. I'm not sure how good he'll be. What do you guys think?
I saw something today where he said he's going to try to test it out this week. So I think he'll be on that field come game time for sure.
Chris, what do you say?
Yeah, I mean,
say he can't really hurt it any worse.
Yeah,
right. It just, I guess
numb it up.
His pain tolerance and whatnot. I mean, you're one game away from the Super Bowl, so he'll give it a go. Like you said, and who knows how effective he'll be, but I still like him out there better than Chad Henne.
Yeah, Chad Henne's all right for a drive or two, but he's getting up there in age. But anyway, the official assignment for the Super Bowl, sadly, Carl Sheffer's crew.
Jesus Christ.
First in flags thrown the last 2 seasons in the NFL, second in 2020. So that is not good. I would say if you could get a total on the under right now in the Super Bowl, it's probably a good pick because you're probably going to have some big plays that are going to get called back. I would say, how can you be so stupid if you're the NFL to not
know any better,
to not get someone who just throws too many flags? You're asking for a game to be 5 hours now instead of 4, and then you're going to have big plays called back. People want to see offense; they want to see good plays by the best players. Disappointing to say the least, in my opinion. Any thoughts on that?
Well, and we say it repeatedly about whenever there's a big play, you don't cheer.
No, you got to hold your breath,
right? Because you're going to see that little yellow flag come up on the screen, and you got to temper your emotions because you're like, oh shit, that's great, my team scored, but we got to wait, and it's just stupid. You just want to watch a clean game with minimal penalties, and especially those ones that are so ticky tack,
like completely on the other side of the field, away from the play,
all
together. Yeah. Carl Sheffers, I don't get it. I don't understand this decision, but hey,
is it better than Jerome Boger?
Probably. Well, I don't know. Probably equal to.
Is that a referee or something?
Yeah. Well, they both should be dressed up like Ronald McDonald.
Yeah. I don't know what it's a lesser of a million evils when it comes to that, but you just hate to see. I don't understand why anybody would pick the guy that's thrown the most flags. That doesn't mean he was right the most. That's for sure. But anyway, best of luck to Carl and his crew as they ruin Super Bowl Sunday for millions of people with their think about how many people will get pumped up about having a number on a board and they think they hit it, like, oh, touchdown, I'm on 0 and 7. Oh no, you're not. Here it comes back.
Don't they like have a referee crew all year, and then when playoff comes around they get jumbled up, don't they?
Well, they say so, but I was reading, it looks like the majority of Sheffer's crew will be intact, I guess, and then they may add maybe a few of the weak links. I don't know how they even pick the weak links. These guys are all bad. I mean, most of them are pretty bad. They just I don't know. I'm glad Hawkey's not, though. I've had enough of that guy. Him coming out in his fucking muscle shirt and -6.
Well, I wish, and
idiot.
And we talked about this before, is with these referees, not just in football, but you can't, obviously, you can't criticize them. You can't say anything about them. And they must have some type of grading system. You know how they rate these guys out. But we never get to see that. Like, I want to see what NFL crew is like the worst, or who calls them, or whatever. But every fucking stat of every player, of every team, every team stat, individual stat. But you don't nothing with the refs.
No, they never have to answer.
No, they don't have to answer a tough question after the game. Well, how did you call interference there in the end zone? And it's just like, well, hey. That's they skate, if you ask me, and
they do.
We never hear of anybody getting.
No, they never get fired. I mean, when's that happen? Once in 10 years.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why you and I get so disgusted watching this bullshit.
It's an unwatchable product. It really is. And betting aside, I mean, if you don't bet on it, I mean, I don't know how you could ever even turn it on. Betting or fantasy, I mean, it's
I'd rather
really
I'd
tough.
rather just have the game on a side TV, or just watch it on my phone and then have a Three Stooges marathon.
Absolutely, that's how I watch games at home a lot. I'll watch I got 3 or 4 TVs going at once. I'll be watching the show. something that will actually stimulate my brain, and then I can have a few of these miserable games on for, just so you can glance over, see the big plays, whatever. You can turn it up if you need to. But another part of the game, before we take a break, that annoys the hell out of me is the announcing crews on these games are so bad. A lot of them. I mean, there's some still good play-by-play guys, but Jim Nantz, and then I've had about enough of Tony Romo. He's starting to get to me after a while. I kind of liked him at first, but
a lot of people are upset with him. Tony Romo. They've been saying he hasn't prepared for games.
Yeah,
he's been getting some.
Hey, they pay him before he has to produce, so why not? Hey, who cares? Right now, you're just collecting the paycheck. They already got Brady. Your boy Brady signed. He hasn't even done one game. How does anybody know he's any good?
Right. I mean, I'll be interested to hear what he. But here's
maybe he's as good as Jason Witten.
I was going to say that. Yeah.
But he's going to. I mean, and I'm not. I don't mind Tom Brady whatsoever. I like Tom. He's a winner. He's the winningest quarterback ever.
You got to respect him, even if you really don't like him. You got to respect him.
What is he gonna add to the broadcast? Is he going to be like a funny guy? I mean, how can he describe things that's going to be so much different and more appealing to the viewer than some of these other? I know some guys are better than others, but
most of our viewers are very dumb. So not our viewers here on BLS, but
the
viewers on NFL games are. I don't think they know what's.
But
what.
are you? But I know that you might, Tyler, because you love Brady. But you're not going to rush. Well, I know I'm certainly not going to and say, well, I know that Colts Packers game. Brady's doing the game, so I got to go home and listen to that. I don't give a fuck.
I don't care who's talking about the game. Right. I'm watching the game.
Yeah, but you like Tom. I thought maybe you would do that for Tom.
I get it. Yeah.
He might do all right.
No, I'm not saying he won't.
I mean, I agree with you. You don't know, Chris, and I don't know if that makes anybody turn a game on just cause. I don't think that's happened.
I doubt you've ever done that. I
mean,
I
really, since John Madden, I actually will say, but I was a kid mostly then. He was worth the listen, but he was paired with good guys too. So but those days are pretty much gone. I do like Kevin Harlan. I think I actually a couple of times he's been doing the radio games in Westwood One, and I will turn him on and then watch the TV because I prefer him. He's very, very good.
I think Greg Olson's pretty good.
Yeah, he's solid.
I think Brady might replace him.
Yeah, he'll get bumped down to the next crew. I think like Moose Johnson, I think he's terrible. I mean, terrible. I think these guys got these jobs because they were Dallas Cowboys at some point. Aikman and then him. I mean, it's.
But no, I did. Tyler, you're right. I did read something about Greg Olson. He was articulate and well prepared, and doesn't make it about him. It doesn't talk too much, but he's an intelligent guy.
And he's with who? Kevin Burkhardt. He does a pretty good job.
Are they? Who's their number? That's Fox, right?
Yeah, that's their number one, I believe. Burkhardt and.
So now Tom's going to be the number one analyst.
Well, whenever he decides, he might go to the Browns. No, he can't get a go. Maybe he'll go to the Ravens.
Yeah. Okay.
Whenever he decides, but I don't know. I think it leaves a lot to be desired. But I will say, the only thing worse than the play-by-play on the games, not necessarily the play-by-play guys, but the entire broadcast, color guy included, is the freaking pregame shows. I don't know how anybody could watch those. Those are horrible. You get no analysis. You get nothing. You get Terry Bradshaw. You get Bill Cowher. These guys are past their expiration date. Get them the hell out of there. They need to get some betting people in there. Some guys are going to give you some interesting, sharp theories on, player props and things that people want to hear now. This betting is everywhere. It's 30 states right now. Get some guys on there who wants to talk. I'll go. I'll sign up. Bring me on. I'll go. I'll talk all day about it. It would be fun. Bring the BLS guys on. We'll go do a few minutes before the game. I guarantee it will be more interesting than listening to Bradshaw, Howie Long, same guys. Even I like Jimmy Johnson, but it's enough. And then the CBS, Phil Simms. Oh God, he's terrible. Geez. Boomer Assassin and Bill Cowher. Enough. I'm tired of your Mr. Tough Guy role. The game's passed you by, old man. Just shut it down now.
Well, and I would always laugh. Well, first of all, how many fucking guys you need on your set in the studio?
Jam in a couple, and you got to have a girl, right? And then you got to make sure it's racially balanced too. Which is, fine if the guys earn their ways, but don't just do it just because of that. You can find a good group of people out there, regardless of color, regardless of sex, but. Find them for what they're saying. It's just old. It's old. It's old and been done. And
I know a couple times this past year, it was in the morning. I think that on the NFL Network. Was that Mariucci on there with
Michael
Kurt
Irvin,
Warner?
Warner.
And they would be on a set. Well, no, they'd be outside, and then they would be like running little plays. Like they would show. They're out there in their $2,000 suits.
Yeah.
They're like, well, this happens, and he kind of stays at the line, and then waits a few seconds, and the tight end, and then Mariucci's out there. It's just because I don't give a flying fuck about how the play is designed, how it's executed. I don't care.
I hate those studio examples, especially when they put Terry Bradshaw in them sometimes. Geez. That buffoon, you don't know what the hell he's doing.
Why wish someone would just go in and blindside him?
Or Michael Strahan just like tombstone him or something.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
those are a waste of time. I always thought the only sport that I thought made sense to do some studio demos is baseball, in my opinion. I've seen some good ones on the MLB Network with Harold Reynolds and some stuff about holding runners, about secondary leads. I found that very intriguing because that's like lost art in any fundamental thing. I feel like baseball is the only one that works with. Football is like, I don't know. There's just so many. There's 11 guys going on each side of the ball at one time. It's just hard to break down exactly what's happening in one spot that's going to make everything
right, because you got 22 moving parts on a football field.
Each guy does his job, or that doesn't matter. You're simulating.
I mean, a pickoff, it's three guys. It's the pitcher, the base runner, and the first baseman. And it's easy. It's a lot easier to analyze that.
Yeah, I know.
Well, Matt, one of the other things, too, you talk about stupid is you got to love the sideline report.
God.
To get a little analyst.
I'm not Coach. Coach, he's loving Aaron Andrews. She's useless to this broadcast, Mark. We got guys breaking their legs. We got guys hurt, and we have no information. Nobody knows what happened to him, and they're just down there. Well, I talked to so and so this week at practice, and he felt this way. Who cares? Yeah. Tell us what happened to Tony Pollard and shut up.
And why? I know you got to have a pretty face on the sideline. That's what we do now. But why does it have to be? Well, let's go down there and get a report. Okay, Tony Pollard is that. He was in the locker room. But why can't you just have somebody just radio up to the guys in the booth and say, well, the latest on Tony Pollard is why? I mean,
he went into the tent. Good.
Okay. Yep.
What next? Tell us.
And you guys, I know you love the when they stop the coach right at halftime.
For some stupidest thing ever.
What do you need to do in the second half?
Yeah. Well, we're down 35-3. I thought, I'd tell you, if I was Sonny Dykes the night of that national championship, I might have body slammed that. I don't remember what girl. But
what did they ask him?
Just he's coming off there getting destroyed. Like, Coach, what do you got to do to get back into the game? And he's just like, I don't have enough time to tell you everything. Yeah. It's not going to work.
Recruit better.
And hats off to guys like him that really, I mean, he's getting his brains beat and he knows he has zero chance.
Yeah, and
to be classy about it. Yeah, because you'd be like, I'm being asked an asinine question. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yet I'm being embarrassed on national TV, but I got to keep my cool here. And which, he's a better man for it, but
Chris, I remember this. Before we take a break, I got to tell this story real fast, see if you remember this. I remember when Coach Crutchfield was at West Liberty, and there would be like sideline reporters. And it didn't. I honestly don't remember who it was. It was a guy or a girl, whoever it was. But I remember at one time, it was halftime, and it was a game that West Liberty was probably in pretty good command of most of the game, leading by a lot. I think we had like 63 points at halftime. And the guy or the girl asked Coach Crutchfield coming off the court, what do you got to do to get the offense going in the second half? And he's like, he looks up at the scoreboard and he's like, the offense. It's like, I'm more worried about our defense. We got 63. That's pretty good. He handles it well. And guys like him with class, like you say, but that is tough. It's just, I don't know. And a lot of it goes with the producers and the directors. You got to coach these people up a little bit. I mean, I'm not expecting everybody to know what to ask, but be a little creative. I'd like to see.
But it adds zero to the telecast. Nobody cares what a coach or a coordinator's got to say at halftime or whatever. But they think we need it.
Yeah, I guess. But anyway, we're going to take a break here on BLS. We will be back to talk about some golf, some NHL, some NBA, a little tennis before we get down to our big locks of the week in the NFL championship games. We'll be right back on Bettor's Last Stand.
This show is for informational and entertainment purposes only. All wagering activity should only be conducted by those 21 years of age or older and within the confines of federal, state, and local law. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, contact 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
All right, welcome back into Bettor's Last Stand, show number 26. Going to go through a little bit of the around the horn, I guess we'll say. One thing I found interesting in just the betting industry that Ohio Casino Control Commission is looking to potentially move to ban individuals who harass college athletes, coaches, and officials on social media. Now, Ohio, we always beat on Ohio on our shows, and we got a lot of love for Ohio too. But we just give them some shit. But in this case, they've only had legalized gambling for about 3 weeks. This is their 4th week, and they're already behaving like animals over there. I saw the poor coach at Dayton. He was having to defend his players because they were screaming and yelling at his team because they won the game and they didn't cover. And it's getting ugly. So our Ohio listeners, spread the good news. Don't be so hard on these people. If you're sending DMs to these kids, I mean, it's one thing you're sending it to pro guys, which you should never be doing, but you're sending it to freaking kids in their 20s and 18-year-olds, and inexcusable behavior. Nobody's out there trying to make you lose money. If you can't afford to lose your money, you shouldn't bet. So please don't make a fool out of yourself. I know nobody that watches this show does that, but just spread the word. Don't let any of your dumb friends do it when they're drunk. It's terrible. Chris, what do you think of this?
Well,
it's a bad start.
When you sent this to me, I printed it out earlier, and I read that, and I wasn't surprised, just because with how this gambling is all over the place now, and you probably got these drunken young college kids that don't know how to act. Yeah. And they make $100 bet, and somehow they lose. They get a bad beat, and they're. I think it's ridiculous. I don't know how they ban them or what they can do, but it's only going to get worse if they don't stop. I mean, leave these guys alone.
I tend to say it has less to do with the gambling than it does the person. It's just like guns. It's not the game. There's gamblers out there who would never do this, myself included, and all of us who have ever been on this show. Right. Would never ever even think to do that. These kids take it hard enough. I mean, winning and losing is it's tough to be on top. It's tough to lose. You give kids credit for going out and playing hard. That's all you ever want. But yeah, you can't behave like that, and no matter what the circumstance. And it's not a gambling thing, so I hate it when people get sick. You're right, Chris. The gambling brings it to the forefront because these drunken buffoon idiots who have no, civilized behavior about them act like this. And I hate to blame the gambling, but
do you think? So say a prominent or just a college basketball player that is a good contributor on his team, and he's in he's got a group of buddies and they all like to gamble. Do you think they have those discussions? And the one preppy boys, hey John, man, tonight you guys are favored by 8, and I'm going to bet the other. Like I wonder if they're and I'm sure the coaches and NCAA probably has seminars or they talk to these guys and say you can't.
You're not supposed to engage in that, but
But how can you not if you got a bunch of...
when I was working on a college campus, we didn't have legalized gambling yet, so I don't know. I'm assuming that stuff goes on, definitely, but you like to think that the integrity, in the kids and the programs and the coaches and your athletic administrators that that's not something to be messing with. You just,
I down the road, I foresee a lot of. Trouble or stories where they're somebody was on the take or somebody accepted some money and
I think it'll be as bad as that. What was that? Was it Arizona State? They had that guard back in like the.
Well, there was that and the Boston College thing too. Yeah. I saw that one, but
those were honestly it's harder to.
That was just like the mafia was involved.
Yeah, it's harder to spot those instances because the legalized bettors in these areas. A lot of the states won't let you bet on the colleges in your state. New Jersey, you can't bet on Rutgers and stuff.
Oh,
Seton
really?
Hall, no.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
so they try to prevent that. West Virginia, you can, which I don't know. I'm mixed on that. I hate to see that you can't bet on teams in your state because there are people out there that want to throw $50 on the game and go watch it in with good faith and have fun with it, which is what it's there for. But I guess there's.
Well, yeah, I don't really even bet on any teams besides my favorite teams, if I even bet. So like if I lived in Florida, I couldn't bet on them, I'd be a mess.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, Cooley, have you ever heard anybody, any people in your circle that have ever like DM'd a guy over a terrible loss or anything?
No, definitely never DM'd a guy. But
okay,
I know I've heard stories of players from D1 schools and stuff messaging friends and say, "Hey, put this bet in for me" and stuff like that.
Right,
but I've never.
Which I can see that, and again, I got no issue with that. To be honest with you, if they're not betting on themselves, but maybe they are, maybe they're betting against themselves. That I do have an issue with. You don't want that.
Yeah.
You definitely don't want that. Yeah, I mean, it's never going to be a perfect thing. All you can do is take people at their word and hope that it doesn't, turn into a big problem.
Yeah, but you know how it is with money.
But that's what I'm saying with the regulators. Like we would notice, like if I make lines on the West Liberty and Wheeling college games every week, multiple times a week. So if I started seeing certain guys' names popping up that are on these teams putting in bets, I would immediately notify gaming. So we do pay attention. Whereas the under the table or the back alley betting, you have no idea and you can't trace that. So and the same thing out in Nevada, Atlantic City. If you start seeing a lot of money showing on one team that's weird, like very strange, small school, that it happens. It does happen from time to time. There'll be someone that will be a tip out on somebody and. There'll be people coming to town with bags of money, but they spot it pretty quickly and they sniff it out and put a stop to it. But hopefully integrity can prevail and people won't do that. But Ohio, get your act together. You've only had this for a few weeks, and they already got the regulatory guys are ready to rewrite the law already, which is scary. But I don't know. All right, for the first time in 45 years, no team has a shorter price than 2-1 for the Super Bowl right now, so tells you that things are pretty even, and I guess that's supposed to make for good games, Chris. But as we mentioned in the first block, the officials could play a role in that. So we're hopeful that the games are interesting and that there's some excitement there. But I don't know. We'll see. A Bettor last week, amazing. I know you guys saw this. First 4 TD scores, $5 wager, $72K. Incredible. Jesus. Finished it off with Dalton Schultz touchdown in the final game of the weekend. Travis Kelce, Dallas Goedert, Jamar Chase, and Dalton Schultz to finish it off. Did you see the video of it? His buddy videoed him.
No.
They videoed like the play and they showed him, and his one friend was standing there recording it, and then he was sitting on a couch or a chair with the other guy, and they're watching the play, and you could see the TV, and you could see Dak roll out and throw it to Schultz, and they just go, no. I mean, I'd be doing the same. I'd probably jump through the ceiling. I mean, a $5 bet, $72K.
He had 3 tight ends and Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that till I read this.
And you look at it, and you're like,
it's almost
really not hard.
Yeah, it's so obvious.
I mean, honestly, maybe Goddard would be, not that he's not capable, but Kelce, you would say, is the favorite for the Chiefs almost every week. Chase is probably the favorite for Cincinnati. And then Schultz has become the secondary weapon behind CeeDee Lamb. Yeah. Other than Zeke, maybe on his 1-yard fat man runs. But, I mean, really, it's not hard to put together. So you're going to see a lot more people trying that. And we wish them well. Hopefully one of us can hit one of those someday.
$5 bet. $5.
$72,000.
Changing your life. That's awesome stuff. UFC's back on the board in Ontario, Canada after being halted over integrity concerns. UFC, we've talked about that before. Definite issue. We were just talking about integrity in basketball and some other sports and what's going on in Ohio with intimidation towards athletes and coaches. Yeah, it's always a worry, but you just hope that the good outweigh the bad and it doesn't become a huge problem and regulators can keep an eye on it. So always something worth watching. MGM Bettor had $500K on a live bet on the Jags, 10.5, and they kicked that field goal. And they were actually in good shape anyway. I think they were down 10, but
it was 27-17 before the field goal.
So a good winner there. I was one of the few guys that laid that kind of cash that actually come through with anything good, but I don't know. If you got that kind of cash, I guess you can lose that kind of cash.
Well, excuse me. Why don't you have that the one bet that our buddy Griff made, a 14-team parlay.
And Griff's 14-team parlay to win what, $10?
Yeah. Cooley has got the bets. He was in there this past Sunday, and he likes to gamble. He's like, hey, he knows me. 14-team parlay. I'm like, wow, he probably
should be rich.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. How much? Guess how much he bet?
You said 10
cents.
No, he bet a quarter.
Yeah, a quarter.
Oh, we had a friend do that recently.
No, I know. And I told Coach about that.
He bet 10 cents on like a 14-leg parlay.
Yeah. No, that was Jarrett that told me the 10 cents, and it was you're right. Griff was 25 cents.
He won $10. $10 off 10 cents.
And you blast a parlay like that. Oh my God! Oh. Jeez, if I ever hit one, I don't play a lot of those.
Griff can't even put $2 on it.
I know
something 10 cents. I mean,
that's
a dime.
Because I didn't ask him at first. He was telling me, and then he was kind of getting overbearing because he was like going into too much detail because I didn't give a fuck. But then he said, "Yeah, it was a quarter." And he said, "Yeah, I only won $10." Like, wow.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we got to work on that.
I thought that was interesting.
We got to work on that. Yep. Yeah.
He needs to listen to the show.
Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of interesting, how about the Penguins last night, Chris?
Jeez.
A 13-goal affair. Was that what it was? 7-6?
Yeah. 7-6. Return to Chris Letang. 4 points.
And then Casey DeSmith last night looked like he couldn't play in the Walhall League out here at Wheeling Park.
He was bad.
He was pitiful. I think I could have done better in there than him. But any news and notes from hockey world, Chris? Anything that strikes your eyes? The last 10 games, Minnesota Wild, no first goal in the first 10, if that's even believable. And in the last 10 games, Vegas 13-1 and Dallas 13-2. Actually, it's not the last 10 games; it would be the last 14 games. But yes, to the goal in the first 10 minutes. So,
Vancouver, they're in here. I love this.
Yeah,
22-2 on the road for a goal in the first 10.
Yep, stay on those. There's a guy. I think the Twitter handle's PSU Auto. You can see all those trends. It's a good follow. You can see he updates it every day. And you can see all the first period, second period, third period, first 10, all that stuff. So money to be made there in the NHL if you can be on the right sides and follow the trends. It seems like a good one. Penguins, first period over, 5-0 the last 5, Chris. That's pretty good. Ottawa, 8 in a row. So what were your observations of last night before we move on to the NBA?
Well, I was at the
you were on the road
game,
last night.
But I got the first score I think I saw was 3-3 in the first period, and then we
that's literally 2 times in a week they've had a game 3-3.
Yes,
in the other game they were down 3-0.
So we got on the bus, come home. I had my iPad, so I put it on. I watched it on online, and it just kept going back and forth. And I was sitting right up front. And I didn't tell you, but our bus driver was old Pick.
Oh, Pick! Yeah. Making his return.
Right. Pick
ever since he went to the EP and the football team lost, I thought they'd ban him.
No, but Pick had a tough night.
Pick carried you to victory.
Well, because he got lost coming out of the high school. We had to turn around in a gas station parking lot.
Trouble.
And then he missed the Elm Grove exit coming down 2 Mile Hill.
No, Pick. No, you can't miss the Elm Grove. It's your home exit.
He said, well, I was thinking that I was going to the bus depot. So anyway, but,
that's Nick's boy.
Yeah, he loves him.
Yeah, but anyway, so Matt, getting back to the game, it was it just kept going back and forth, and what I saw in the third period, it was no defense. Dumoulin had another horrible night, and
at least Letang scored to win it.
So well, they finally, they won in overtime. So I mean, it's a good 2 points, but they play like that. They're not even making the playoffs.
Next.
Washington tomorrow.
Yeah, and the Panthers are a team they're fighting with. They got games in hand. I don't know. They're goaltending. If they're gonna have to, I'd rather have Tokarski in there right now. Casey Smith has lost it. He was really, really bad last night.
Oh my gosh!
I'd be betting the over. So jump on those overs if you see him between the pipes until Jari comes back. Did he ever say what's wrong with Jari?
Well, he's out too after the All-Star.
But he was supposed to start yesterday.
Yes.
He was scheduled. He was the first goalie off the ice in the morning.
Yes.
Supposed to start the game. Of course, you'll laugh. I bet the under, thinking he was going to start. Well, we were doing the podcast down here, so I couldn't get out of the bet. I didn't see it. We would already.
So you didn't know that he?
No,
wasn't.
and I would have bet back the other way and try to cancel myself out.
Right.
And because you can't cancel bets on apps, obviously.
Right.
But, yeah, so I was done. I was like, oh, this is good. 3-3 into 1. I got the under 6.5.
Yeah.
That'll never work. So, anyway, that was a tough
right,
one.
because there has to be at least one more goal.
Jari killed me there, but
that's terrible. And I don't understand, too. I just saw on the stat sheet that P.O. Joseph played like 7 minutes.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm sure Dumoulin probably got more ice time than him, but they're
maybe they'll shake it up. Maybe Hexie will shake it up at the deadline. I doubt it.
Hexie and that blockhead Brian Burke.
Yeah. Wonder what's the bigger deal to Pittsburgh people. The Penguins making the playoffs all those years in a row, or the stupid Steelers having a winning record for Mike Tomlin. Two useless things to me.
Well, yeah, but they better hope that they don't finish in the second wild card.
Yeah,
they
get slaughtered by the Bruins. Well, they'll get 2 home games, and there'll be empty seats like there is every night, sadly. I don't know. Love the Penguins, but we got some work to do. So
yes.
Keep an eye on those trends, though. Ottawa over in the first period. The Penguins over anytime. DeSmith starting right now. Current form. He is very rough around the edges. And then all over Vancouver, goal in the first 10. Although I would be a little bit leery about that now. They just changed coaches. Rick Tocchet is now the coach there. So proceed gently with that one because they may start tightening up a little bit. Mm-hmm. Usually they tend to pay attention to defense a little more when they get a new coach. But we'll see. Anyway, let's move on to the NBA. Actually, I'm going to want to touch real quick on college. How about this loss by Houston the other night? Temple beats them, and Temple stinks.
Temple beat them?
Yeah, Temple beat them on Sunday. Temple lost to like Wagner and some other bad teams. This shows you how wide open this college basketball. We haven't done a lot with college basketball on the show. Once the football's over, we're going to dive into it a little bit deeper as the conferences wind down. But, man, this NCAA tournament may be just bananas.
Be a bloodbath.
It could be. I mean, 16 seeds could be making it to the Final Four. It wouldn't surprise me.
I'm all for it. And by the other noteworthy game, I think, was over the weekend that TCU went into Kansas.
Yeah,
Kansas is number 2.
Yeah, Kansas had lost 2 in a row. But
they lost at home by 23.
Yeah, well, that was after TCU had lost to the Mountaineers.
Yeah, I mean, I just that was an eye opener. I didn't.
Coach way down on the Mountaineers. He's disgusted with them. He backed them 2 nights in a row, and they came through one night. They almost blew that lead against TCU, and then they lost to Texas.
Did you watch any of the Texas game?
Yeah, I mean,
it's bad basketball.
Watched. I say that loosely. I had it on. Terrible.
It's bad basketball. I mean, they're not even entertaining when they win.
No. No, they're really not. I've actually enjoyed watching some of the smaller college games. Mm-hmm. They seem to just play better. I don't know. Colgate and some of these teams, Cornell, they play good offense, good emotion offense, move the ball. Everybody can shoot. I like that stuff better.
Did you see that? Who was that dude that's like the second all-time leading scorer in college basketball? It was I forget his name. It was like for South Carolina State or somebody. He's a Division I guy. I think his last name was Davis, but they were showing him, and it's like, man, I don't know what the all-time. Well, no, Pete Maravich had like 4,000 points, but that's because Pete was. They had to play 4 years back then, but this guy was silky smooth. But I like to see these smaller schools and these unknown players that you don't know about to get on a big stage, and when the tournament starts and make a name for themselves.
They're going to have a chance. Dalton Bolin, previously of this parish, West Liberty area.
Is he healthy again? Or is he?
I mean, as far as I know.
Yeah, he's the team's leading scorer.
Yeah, I mean, he's played every game that I've seen.
Is this his
7th year?
Is this his second year down there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't
last year he got hurt, right?
Yeah. Last year
okay.
Yeah. If he got hurt again, then I didn't notice that.
Okay.
But no,
I just didn't realize this was his second year down there. But man,
7th overall. Yeah. But yeah. So they're a fun team. Charleston, that is. They put up the points. So it'll be interesting to see how college hoops finishes up. Going to be a lot of upsets, I think, in conference tournaments and in the big dance. So we look forward to that. Cooley, you broke the big news on the radio show on Monday about this Laker trade. As you've had time to analyze it.
That's funny the way you had a seemingly useless.
Yeah.
I didn't hear the trade though. What is it, Cool?
I like the Hachimura kid, but I don't understand the fit. But.
Lakers traded 3 second-round picks and Kendrick Nunn for Roy Hachimura from the Wizards. Kendrick Nunn's played like 6 games for them in 2 years. I don't even know why the Wizards would even want him. But I guess
Did you used to have Kendrick Nunn? Did he used to play
he
for
used
the
to play
Heat?
for the Heat.
That's what I thought.
He was like second in Rookie of the Year, and we couldn't even get anything for him in a trade. Now the Wizards are taking him on.
I don't understand what the Lakers are doing, but I mean, I like Hachimura. I think he's a good player, but they need shooting, and they don't have it, and I don't know.
But what are these draft picks worth? Second-round picks?
They just
nothing.
They're nothing.
They're
Pretty much
like
garbage unless you
candy.
get lucky. I mean, you just get fortunate to fall into a guy who's
right.
maybe good, but I don't know. Observations from the week, Cools, NBA-wise, your team up and down. I don't know. You guys are still hanging in there as we talked to Haywood on Monday, but thoughts? Anything stick out? I mean, kind of the same thing we've been over. Same big dogs in the East. Durant's on his way back soon, right? I believe.
Yeah, he's about to be back soon.
The Knicks are terrible. The Hawks are terrible.
Well, Knicks are 3 games
Yeah,
over
I mean,
500.
but they're just okay.
But they beat the Cavs last night.
Pelicans are finally getting healthy again. Brandon Ingram's coming back soon.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis coming back soon for the Lakers.
The Kings continue to impress. And last week, I gave out the Thunder, and I don't think they've won since. Well, I mean, that's fitting. I mean, actually, no, they did beat the Nuggets, I think, last night.
I might like the Lakers to make playoffs at plus 186.
Yeah.
Getting an AD back, trading for our boy Roy Hachimura. You never know.
I mean, I don't think it's a bad bet. Whenever you got LeBron, I mean, Anthony Davis, you got a chance to at least make the playoffs.
What do you
I'd
mean?
hope the all-time great could make the playoffs.
Well, they're
Jeez.
only 2 games out of the 8 spot.
Right, but they're also a few games out of the 15th spot. No, actually, they're well above the Spurs and the Rockets. But the teams in Texas and Dallas, oh man, Dallas just. Are they going to make a move, trade deadline? They need to make a big splash. If they do, I think they got a chance. I think they could win the West if they could just put a couple of other guys.
Maybe not even like a big name player, but
like 2
a
medium
couple
guys.
Good, like a couple great role players or something.
They ought to be going to some of these teams, especially in the Eastern Conference, who are finished. The Raptors, the Wizards already made a move, but like the Raptors, Bulls. The Magic probably won't give up, even unless they have some veteran guys on the Hornets. I don't know what they have. The Pistons, oh God. I gave them out at the beginning of the year. I thought they'd make the playoffs. I thought they'd make the play-in game. And then Cade Cunningham goes down, and it was they are horrible. Did you see how bad they lost the other night to the Bucks?
They're really bad.
Bucks scored 150, but I didn't understand that. Like, all the Bucks starters were still in the fourth quarter. I didn't understand that. It's like they had something to prove.
Well, Matt, you look at these standings, Eastern and Western. You would think that there will be a lot of sellers. So there's probably players out there.
I like chaos. I want trades, but
I do. The NBA is
even though
always
it's
good
really really hard to watch. But I'll look forward to some trades. Maybe make it exciting down the stretch. And I do like the play-in thing. I think that's good. I know LeBron will say he likes it or dislikes it depending on how they do. Every year. He changes his mind.
Right.
He's such a hypocrite.
He suggested it the one year that we need to do something.
He said we should do it, and then they lost it.
Yeah.
This is a terrible thing for the league.
But did you see the thing he said about his son the other day? About
he can go anywhere he wants.
He said, all I got to do is pick up the phone. But people they were like, well, wait a minute. Is it because he's good, or is it because you're LeBron and you can call... Can he just shut the fuck up?
Yeah, he's definitely shouldn't have said that.
He can't help himself.
No. It's like, why don't he just say, Bronny, he make the choice? I mean, and they were saying like on those recruiting, or not, but those, we call them like they call it the high school, the rankings or the top. They said he's like in the top 30 or 40 guys.
He's like 36 or something.
Right, but I mean, he's good, but that was just a bullshit thing to say.
They said the recruiters were saying how hard it is to even reach Bronny. Like, they have to set up a meeting with his agent and talk to his mom and go through all these loopholes just to be able to contact him, and they can't even recruit the kid. So it's like, I mean, no wonder why he doesn't have a bunch of offers.
I would be very, very cautious anybody that gets involved with that family.
Yes.
That's as bad as LeVar Ball. And I'm not sure that he's as good as any of those Ball kids are. Bronny.
Well, do you think, I was thinking about that because I just saw a highlight of one.
Bronny probably couldn't play at West Virginia State.
Right.
I mean,
but what, but we haven't heard anything from LeVar. They just kind of tell him to shut up.
Maybe he just realized he did his job. They all are millionaires and everything's good.
Yep.
So, I think.
But Matt, I thought the same thing. If I'm a school and I thought, well, we could probably use a Bronny, but I don't want to sign up for dealing with LeBron.
What kind of coach would want to go through that?
all the publicity. It's going to
And
be
any
insane.
type, yes, that. And then when he comes to a game, yes, publicity, ridiculous. And then, God forbid, they lose a tough game. Then Mr. Know-It-all will be telling the coach what he should have done, and he should have done this, and he should.
Or if Bronny had
Not
a
even
bad
close.
game and he
I'd
calls
tell-
up.
I'd be
I'm
terrified
gone.
if I was a coach.
Yes, I
They
would.
go on a bad
It just-
loser streak or something.
You wouldn't. It wouldn't even be worth getting him
No.
because you're going to end up losing your job. He'll end up coaching the team. LeBron will.
Yeah, and then Braun
his
shows up
part-time.
with his entourage. They're probably 4 or 5 guys sitting right in the front row, across from the bench. I mean,
And it sucks because Bronny's a good player, but I think the expectations for him are just way too high.
Well, maybe he turns out better than Michael Jordan's kid. But
They were terrible.
I would not think that Bronny's going to have much of a future. I think he could be on a milk carton in a few years.
You know what? And I don't have anything against that kid. I mean,
Not
can't
yet.
help it. Well, right. But if
Spawn of
but
Satan,
if he,
but
but
that's
if he,
all.
like I hope the guy. Well, I shouldn't. If he does well, fine. If he doesn't, I hope it just tears LeBron up. Like, oh, my kid's not that good because he's LeBron and he thinks he's the greatest ever, and his kid's going to follow in his footsteps. I mean, that
LeBron
doesn't
won't
work.
let him be the greatest ever. He'll make sure of that.
He'll unretire and come
Yeah,
back
he
and
can't
play.
possibly have
His
that
second
happen.
son is going to be better than Bronny. I can't remember.
Usually that
How
works
old's
like
that kid?
He's in maybe like a freshman or something now.
Okay.
The youngest brother's normally the best a lot of the times.
He's a lot taller than Bronny, so he's going to be good.
They all have the same mother.
Yep.
Yeah, Savannah.
Don't know her. Don't want to. All right, on to let's talk a little bit of tennis. So anyway, I gave out some pretty good ones on this show, but man, oh man, we could have had an absolute monster run in this tennis. Lost just gut-wrenching matches. Coco Gauff, Maria Sakkari, Danielle Collins, Jessie Pegula, Auger Aliassime, Runa out. All of them just out the other night within a 36-hour period. I lost all of them, and I think every one of their matches went. Well, no, they didn't all go 3 or more, but some close matches really would have been a good payouts if we could have got most of them through. Hopefully you played them along the way. But we got our 2 picks to win it. Sabalenka and Djokovic still going strong. Sabalenka looked awesome last night. Joker amazing this morning. They're off today, which is Thursday, or no, today's Wednesday. They're going to be off until Thursday. So by the time you see this show, we'll be down to the finals, I believe. So I'm going to try to put picks out on Friday for the final and let you know who we like. But we'll be riding Sabalenka and Djokovic there. So that's always a good parlay if you can make it happen. It's gonna be interesting. I'm not gonna spend much time on it because, as I said, it'll be outdated by the time. But Tsitsipas was one of the ones we mentioned as maybe to face off with Djokovic in the final. Djokovic takes on American Tommy Paul, and then Tsitsipas plays Karen Khachanov of Russia. Both those matches should be good. I think Joker will probably crush Tommy Paul. And then in the women's, Sabalenka plays Magda Linette, who's just been on fire. She's unseeded and has been playing really well. It'll be hard for her to win here. And then a great match, Azarenka and Rybakina, going to be awesome. The Rybakina girl is she's so even keel. She won. She win Wimbledon or US Open? I can't remember. Anyway, she won a major and it looked like she just she's just a really even keel, doesn't explode, which is probably why she's doing so well. And then Azarenka, a major champion from the past who's still got good game. Sabalenka looking to win her first, so it should be good tennis. I'm looking forward to watching those matches. Wish I could give you a better scope, but you got the futures early. Hopefully you bet Sabalenka and Djokovic, and you're getting ready to cash those. You might be able to hedge a little bit if you need to. Golf started today, which is Wednesday when we tape this show, so they try to avoid the NFL. That is the tournament at Torrey Pines, Farmers Insurance. Take a look, and this is kind of a tip for the week. Live betting in golf, we've mentioned it here before. Take a shot with this. John Rahm won at 80-1 a few weeks ago at the Tournament of Champions. He was 7 shots back of Colin Morikawa and won at 80-1. So I really encourage the value on golf live betting is just through the roof right now. If these really good players play an off round, maybe the first or second round, you can get them at just quadruple the odds, maybe actually even more than that. Like John Rahm this week's like 4 or 5 to 1 to win that tournament. If he has a bad round today, which he may not, he's gonna double. He's gonna be at least 10, and then if he has another subpar round for him, he's gonna go up to like 15, 20. So you're gonna get the number one player in the world at a much better price than you would have, pre-match. So. Take a look at the betting of the live betting of golf. It's really, really a potential moneymaker. I know you guys mentioned wanting to throw down some dollars. Chris, have you tried that yet?
No, you need to remind me to do that because I was when I joined you guys on Sunday. I don't know when did Rahm take the lead on that.
He was in command of that one early in the day or late in the third round.
He was solid.
Yeah, you weren't going to get much of a price on that, and in that case you wouldn't have, but you can bet these guys for top 5s too and top 10s that are further down the leaderboard, and every week, I mean, there's so many good players. I advise people to take a shot. Some of the guys that I thought if they don't play well today or tomorrow, I'm going to take a shot with them. I played a few of these guys pre-match, but Will Zalatoris, Max Homa, Jason Day, his game's starting to come back. Very, very excited for him. He was the number one player in the world right before the run of Jordan Spieth and Dustin Johnson and those guys. Jason Day was as good as it gets. He's a better putter than just about anybody. And he had vertigo. He had a neck issue. He had all kinds of injuries. And now he's starting to get his game back. He was at 24 to 1 to win this tournament. But I'll take a look at him. I think he's a top 5 candidate. His game was great last week. Maverick McNeely, Justin Rose, game starting to round back into form. He played well last week. Keegan Bradley was around 70 to 1. I like him. I think he's played well at this course, so I'd take a shot on him. Again, look for these guys further down. You're probably going to get inflated odds after Thursday or Friday's rounds, and then Wyndham Clark, Dean Burmeister, two other guys, longer shots. I think it could be top 10. So,
but man, I just say you look at if you just went on there and like this. I don't know, just who this Piercy is. Okay.
Yeah, Scott Piercy.
Yeah, and if you just
not Stephen Piercy. For Brad out there who's watching, B-Mac, go 49ers.
But it plus whatever 42. 40. If you just threw a few dollars down on that guy to make the
425 to 1. Yeah.
I mean that's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's
just throw a few
golf.
dollars.
Golf is you have golf has the most value probably of any sport right now in betting. You can just find guys, really, really good players who can win at giant prices. So keep an eye out for golf. It's a hidden treasure. I know a lot of people don't enjoy watching it, but you know what? You only have to check in on it every once in a while, right? Cools, you're a golfer.
Yep.
Just check in, just bet it and forget it. Set it and forget it, like Ron Popeil. Bet it and forget it, and then you look in your account and boom, there you go. You cashed a big one with Max Homa.
Just wait for my boy Ricky Fowler to pop up on TV.
I'm looking forward to Ricky getting his game back. Hopefully he can. But we're going to take a break here on Bettor's Last Stand. We'll be back with our final segment. I'm going to talk to these guys about the NFL Draft. The first look, Mel Kiper releases his big board the other day. We're going to talk a little bit about that, what teams need, and then we're going to get our picks for the NFC and AFC championships. We'll be right back on Bettor's Last Stand.
This show is for informational and entertainment purposes only. All wagering activity should only be conducted by those 21 years of age or older and within the confines of federal, state, and local law. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, contact 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
All right, welcome back into the final segment of this week's Bettor's Last Stand, show number 26. Cools and Chris alongside as Coach is out at Wheeling College for the big showdown doubleheader, Bobcats and Cardinals. I'm sure that'll be a big-time watch tonight. Just recapping a few things before we get into the NFL Draft. Looking back at the beginning of the year, last spring when March Madness ends normally, you see, or actually we kind of post them even the week after the Super Bowl, but early Super Bowl odds, if you were to get them back in spring of 22, Kansas City was 12 to 1 at the Westgate. These are all from Westgate Superbook, which you have one of those in Ohio now, so check it out. It's really good really good outfit. Kansas City was 12-1. The 49ers were 25-1. You could have got the Bengals at 40 and the Eagles at 50-1 back then. That was before they made some of those trades. Got A.J. Brown. So lots to look at there. Who's going to be this year's dark horse that you can find before the draft? Most people say the Jags and the Lions. So
yeah.
We shall see. Yeah. Well, yeah. Hopefully, Say's Jags and Bay's Lions meet in the Super Bowl someday.
Yes.
That'd be a hell of a matchup, wouldn't it?
That'd be insane.
Postseason underdogs 22-12 as they continue to perform pretty well. We talked about the flip of the line in the Bengal game. Doug Peterson mentioned this last week, how good he was in these playoff games. 7-0 as a dog, so he got to cover again last week. And then look ahead lines. Super Bowl 57. Right now, if the matchups, this is obviously contingent that Mahomes is not quite 100%. Eagles versus the Bengals, it would be the Eagles -1, the total 47.5. San Francisco and Cincinnati would be a pick in a 46.5 total. San Francisco versus KC would be a pick in a 47.5 total. And the Eagles and Chiefs would be Eagles -1, total 48. So all those pretty much in the range of 46 to 48 in the totals and picking one. So dead even, as we talked about, everybody's odds at least 2-1 or better. It says it's exciting. The NFL, they're telling you it's supposed to be exciting, but will it be? I don't know. We shall see. We're going to get these guys' thoughts on that, and then I just wanted to touch on a couple of bad beats. This NBA bad beat the other night was atrocious.
I saw
232 was the total in this game, and you got 28 points scored in the final 57 seconds of the T-Wolves and Rockets game. Then this was a cigar smoking under, and it was literally foul 3, foul 3, foul 3, foul, layup, dunk 3. Yeah, just absurd.
God. Were you watching it, man?
God, no. But I looked at the play-by-play. I heard a guy talk about it in the morning, and I went through the play-by-play, and it is just startling if you had that side.
20 points in a minute.
Yeah. I think I would rather be the guy that lost $330K on the Bills, because that would mean I'd had $330K to waste.
Right.
Yeah, boy, you didn't get much effort out of the Bills. Didn't get much for your money there. You probably could have bought a lot of hookers and cocaine for that.
Yeah.
But better luck next time, Jack. We'll see. All right, well, let's turn our focus here to the big games. As Chris gets really pumped up talking about this. Actually, let's talk about the draft first. That's my fault. I want to get your thoughts. Mel Kiper released his big board late last night or early this morning, and his projected number 1 is Carter from Georgia to go to the Bears. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Stroud is projected at number 2 to the Texans. Cardinals getting Will Anderson, Colts Bryce Young, and the Seahawks Will Levis. And then those are their odds next to him to go number 1. Cooley, you said, what do you have to say about Levis off camera? You said it's a joke if he goes number 1.
If he goes number 1, I will turn off the draft.
So you don't think he should be higher than 7-1 to go? I would agree with that. I don't think he's a number 1 pick. I'll be surprised.
I can see something happening. He'll have the draft workout, and he'll make one amazing throw.
Yeah, you're right.
They'll fall in love with the measurables.
We talked about that last night on the podcast, Chris. I was telling these guys about the Jamarcus Russell fiasco when he threw the ball 70 yards from his knees, and then he got to be and then the fake tape watching and all that stuff.
Yeah, Kyle Bowler used to do that too.
Yeah.
He was brutally bad.
He played for the Ravens for a while. Oh man, horrible player. So thoughts, Chris? What do you think about Mel's board here?
Well, I was going with my boy. I was just looking at Bucky Brooks.
Oh, okay.
But
that's okay. Who's Bucky got?
He got Will Anderson.
Will Anderson to the Bears. He doesn't have the trade worked.
No, the one I was. Cause that's why it was on the CBS, and that's right before you started talking. I switched over. Like I'm not factoring in these guys, these pretend trades.
It's hard to do for the trades. Just so you folks are aware, be looking for these. We'll be posting them. Most of the books will have these things posted here right after the Super Bowl. It's hard to do it when you're not sure the order of some of these teams, but you pretty much have it locked in now, so they'll be coming up here pretty quickly. You can find some of these offshore right now. The favorite to go first is still Bryce Young at -115. Second choice, C.J. Stroud at about +275. Then you have Carter at +350 and Anderson at +850, and then Will Levis at 7-1. Imagine probably one of those 5 guys will be the first pick.
Well, Matt,
seemingly
would the number on Stroud go? I mean, because he's going to be the first quarterback taken, but he's probably not going to go first, is he?
No,
Unless
he won't be. But Young
trade?
is still favored to be the number 1 pick. So I'm thinking that's priced with Young in mind that it will be traded for.
Okay,
the Colts have
right.
already said they'll trade whatever to get up there. And the Texans,
They're picking 4th, right? Colts got 4th.
Yes, and I don't know what they have to trade, but they probably have some things. And the Bears, I still can't not believe that Houston did this, that they won that game.
Incredible.
What in the hell were they thinking?
It was a middle finger from Lovie Smith.
Yeah.
Yes, it had to be. It
Yes.
had to be. It had absolutely had to be. The Bears now have so much maneuverability at their hands right now. They can load up on picks. They can trade back. They can say, all right, we want Anderson or Carter. We can trade, and we know the Texans and the Colts want quarterbacks. We can trade down to 3 or 4 and still get one of those guys. So I think the Bears are in a great spot. I think the Texans are just idiots. They could have had all this potential power. Now they'll just basically wait for someone to trade above them, and then they will get the second choice that they want. I mean, they'll lie and say, "Oh, this is a guy we wanted anyway," like they always do.
Yes,
but it never really works like that. But if you guys were the Texans, who would you go with quarterback wise?
It's tough because Young scares me because he's so small. He's smaller than Kyler Murray, so chances of him getting hurt to me are so high.
And he seems like he's not even built. Like Kyler Murray's small, but he's kind of like stout looking. Yeah.
And I don't. I mean, the Stroud kid. I mean,
he played a good game against Georgia. I thought. I liked him. I thought with a good offensive line, he could be decent.
But again, I got that. I'm fearful of the Ohio State quarterback just because.
I get that. I get that. And for me to compliment him, that's a stretch.
Well, no, he's good, and I thought the Fields kid's good.
I honestly,
when it's NFL, I haven't seen him throw the ball where the fuck.
Yeah,
but he runs like crazy.
Doesn't have really nobody to throw to though.
Yeah, but even the ones that he was.
Oh, I got Claypool now.
Yeah, he's a
sweet.
cone.
Yeah, he is. He's terrible.
Sucks.
So and you're right that size is an issue with Bryce Young.
Yeah, I think Young's probably the safest, like the highest floor, but Stroud and whoever else you want to put in.
And I mean, my God,
who after Stroud? Will Levis is the next quarterback they say? Is there any other first round?
Anthony Richardson.
Oh my
Florida.
God, I think he's so bad.
Yeah, he just can't.
Oh my
he
God,
can't throw.
And I don't think he's even as good an athlete as Justin Fields. There was like 6 weeks into the season, he had 1 touchdown pass.
Yeah.
I don't know how you could take him. I can't believe teams.
He's another one of those guys where they'll fall in love with the measurables and they'll be a first round pick.
Yeah. Can't read a defense, but whatever.
Yep.
We'll give it a shot. I don't know. It's amazing how these teams make the same mistakes year after year after year.
It makes me think I could be a general manager. I swear I could do it.
I know. I totally agree. I really don't think we could do any worse. I really, really don't think. I bet you if you gave the Pine Room operating the budget and the ability to operate the front office of an NFL team for 1 season, I bet you we would outperform the previous group. No, I mean don't send us to the Patriots or some of these teams, but some of these teams that have been bad for like 5 straight years, I guarantee you we could turn the Texans around.
Couldn't do any worse.
And the Bears. No, there's no. I don't care if you haven't played football, if you haven't watched football. There's people out there that can think and will use their brains analytically. Take a chance on them. I'm so tired of these same cliched front office meathead morons. Like what was the guy at the Raiders had? Mayock. I mean, enough. I mean, and Matt Millen. Like just enough. Well, and that guy for Arizona, the guy, the drunk driving guy, looks like an absolute idiot. He just looks stupid, and he is stupid. Yes.
Did he step down?
Did he finally?
Because they fired.
Well,
King
I think you're probably right.
But he did look like a big,
just an idiot.
But you're right though about that. And you could take us 8 guys, and we could coach a team for a week or 2, and we would have as much.
I would agree with that. I honestly, if I
they overthink it.
If we could get play callers on each side of the ball, very good X and O guys. I don't care if it's a graduate assistant from Ohio State, somebody who is very keen on the terminology of today. I guarantee you we could game manage better than any of these coaches. I'll put myself up against any of that because I watch this stuff every week, whether I like it or not. And the clock operating blunders time and time again with these teams. It is inexcusable. And these owners who are billionaires and smart men, they have to be smart in some capacity.
They have all the information in the world at their fingertips, and they still make the same mistakes. We make better decisions, and we don't have any of the information.
But I wonder how much of that is driven by analytics. Like somebody,
a lot of
some teams a lot. Yeah.
They'll talk fancy about analytics, but I will say I think the NBA, I will give it credit. They have adopted some guys in front offices in the league who are not just basketball guys. You have guys who are like stockbrokers. The Cuban hired that guy. His name escapes me at the moment, but a guy who was a sports bettor and had him on his staff, and they were building a team, and he was like, his analytics and his algorithms that were predicting winners in sports, it was helping them choose players and run their team. But when they had Dirk and when they had that run to where they were really good and they won the championship, and I give guys credit like that, and that's why Mark Cuban's a smart owner, because he's not the kind of guy who is just going to say, look at me, I'm smarter than you. He wants to win, and I like that about him, and that's why I'm shocked that he hasn't made a bigger move here in the last few years. Maybe he's just hamstrung.
He tried with Chris that.
Yeah, no, that didn't work out. So I give guys like that credit versus the Jerry Jones who think that running the wing tee at Oklahoma in 1943 is like going to work today.
No, if we were coaching, I guarantee you we wouldn't have had Zeke Elliott snapping the last.
No, he wasn't even addressed in the game. Actually, you know what? He would have been the personal protector on the punt. So
what is that guy done lately? He's worthless. He got paid.
Yeah. Paid, and then he started going to Dairy Queen every night or something. But,
yes, but no, I agree. We could be
couldn't be any worse.
We could do a competent job.
Champ would be our special teams coach. Well, he always take the points.
The one thing we would refer to him, George. Do we take the 3 points? Yeah. Every time
he get in a fist fight, he'd be like that numbskull that Ohio State had that was wear no sleeves at -20 outside. Remember that guy, Chris? Their special teams coach.
Yeah, these tough guys. Yeah, I told Kevin that last night. We were talking on the way home about football, and I said, if you ever want to get cuckoo fired up, just jack him and say, I think it's better to just go for it, than rather than take the points.
He'll get actually mad at you about it. He was yelling at Ace a few weeks ago about it. No, Ace, what the hell's the matter with you, Ace? Don't you have a brain? That's what he said. Oh, yeah.
But I think Greedo, most of the times he's right about that.
No, a lot of times he is. And that's saying something. When you're getting outfoxed by Champ at his age.
And Champ's not relying on analytics.
Good luck. Analytics? What the hell is the only thing he would like about analytics is the first 4 letters of it. So. Yeah, that would be
good one, man.
All right, real quick before we get into the picks for the week, what are your guys' thoughts on these awards? They announced the final guys they got down to the players of the year: Hurts, Hill, Jefferson, Mahomes. Who you guys see winning that? Because usually they don't give it to the MVP.
I was going to say the MVP doesn't normally win it.
So
right?
I think Mahomes will win the MVP, and then who do you think? I don't know. Hurts got hurt, but he deserves it. He probably deserved it.
I think he deserved it. I think Jefferson should get it.
Yeah, Jefferson might. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he missed because they did that with Cup last year.
Yeah, because they can't give it to every award to a quarterback.
Yeah,
so
I do think Mahomes deserves the MVP this year. I think Hurts would have won it. But with Mahomes, I don't love his receivers at all. So I think he's really been good. What about Defensive Player of the Year? I think Bosa. Nick Bosa looks like he's going to win that.
I think it's
Chris
clearly
Jones,
Bosa.
Michael Parsons. I thought Michael Parsons should have won it last year. He was much better than Watt, in my opinion, but not this year. Comeback Player of the Year. This one I'm a little bit mixed on. Don't think Geno Smith ever came back from anything.
That's what I was going to say. Well, the fact Chris Godwin's not in on it over him makes me
agree.
So mad.
I think he should have been. And I would not vote for McCaffrey either because a lot of times I think he just didn't play because he was playing for Carolina. I would go with Saquon in that one.
They had the same injury, Saquon and Godwin.
Right. No, I agree. He should be in the top 3 for sure.
He only missed one more game.
Yeah, I didn't agree with Geno Smith being in there.
Geno's a feel-good story, and they didn't. I think when they decided to stick with him as their quarterback. They weren't expecting to make the playoffs. They just figured he'd be good enough to.
Right.
But he played well. But you're right.
He's going to get a contract out of it.
Yeah. And he's going to get paid. Yeah, Barkley would be my pick as well.
How about Coach of the Year? I voted for Dayball, but after last week, I'd still keep him as mine. I don't know. What do you guys say? Peterson and Shanahan with the other finalists. How about Sirianni? They're almost going undefeated.
Yeah.
Hurts gets hurt, and he's not even in the finals
It's
three.
surprising to
That's bizarre to me. I don't agree with Shanahan. I'm not a fan of his.
I like
he's
Shanahan just because he went through 3 different quarterbacks this year.
Yeah, but I think that proves to me that the system
good
is
the
good.
team
Yeah, I don't know. I
Well,
guess you can give him credit for that.
I mean, all these guys would be good choices. I like Peterson only for the shit show that he had to follow with that fucking dickhead.
Yeah, you're right about
Urban
that,
Meyer,
Chris.
and the culture down there, how it was just a disaster. And it just shows you how much of an asshole, low character guy Urban Meyer is.
Yeah.
Right.
Piece of shit. And so now they got a well-respected guy
They're
in
stable
there.
for a while now. They
Yes,
actually
and
made
they-
a good move.
He built a
did.
good culture there too.
Absolutely.
How about offensive rookie? Purdy made the top 3.
How?
I don't agree
How does
with
he
it.
make
I don't
over
agree with it.
What
somebody
do you
like
do? Play 7 games?
Yeah.
for 8
I don't
games
agree
he's
with
on
it
there.
at all.
Where's Chris Olave?
Yeah, he
1,000
got
yard-
hurt a little bit too. Yeah,
1,000 yards. He should be over Purdy.
I would vote for Kenneth Walker, the guy
I
from
would too.
Seattle. I thought he had the strongest year overall. I think he's going to be very good. He impressed me. That'd be my vote. I don't think Purdy should have been in there.
Wilson would have had.
Garrett Wilson was solid, but his quarterbacks are unstable.
Yeah, if
like
Wilson
there was
would've had
weeks where
White-
he would catch like one pass. Wouldn't even be his fault.
Wait a minute. These two, I know they're both. One guy plays for the Saints and the other one plays for the Jets, right?
Yep.
Who's
Wilson plays for the Jets,
Okay.
yeah, and then Olave for the Saints, yeah.
Jesus, what horrible quarterbacks.
Yeah. And imagine if he just had Mike White all year. He would've been better.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, healthy Mike
Yeah.
White. They said Derek Carr might be going there.
Yeah.
Or they said
No,
Lamar
well,
Jackson actually was in the mix, I think. for the
Derek
Jets.
Carr can't go there.
No, he wouldn't last well
know
in
what?
New York.
He'll be
Not
crying
good.
by week 3.
Would
What's
not be
Champ
pretty.
say? I was going to say,
Yeah.
what will Champ say?
Absolutely
It'll
would
never
work.
work.
It'll never
You're right.
work.
He will be crying.
He'll be a mess.
Yeah. All right, and then defensive rookie Sauce Gardner,
Sauce.
Hutchinson. I like the kid from Seattle better, the
Yeah,
Woolen
Tariq
kid.
Woolen.
I think he's better than Sauce, but whatever. That ain't gonna happen. New York market, Sauce Gardner.
Yeah.
He'll
I think
get
that's
the-
a coin flip for me.
Yeah,
They're both
he'll
really good.
He'll win. He'll win. The New York media will push that heavy.
I
So-
like that Hutchinson. That's a kid from Michigan.
Yeah,
Right?
he had a,
Went
he
to
had a strong
Detroit.
year. Lions showed some backbone late in the season, which is good to see. All right, it's the time you've all been waiting for. Chris's big releases. Yeah,
5 stars.
So, anything strike you guys in these games? I know I'm going to be on the from a business standpoint and a personal standpoint. I like the 49ers and the Chiefs in these games. Been sticking with them as kind of our picks for the last few weeks. Going to ride it out, hoping Mahomes can play. I think the Eagle 49er game should be really good. They both played very soft schedules. I think first and second, easiest in the league. So don't know what that's going to translate to. And then I think obviously the Bengals and Chiefs, I think should be a good game if Mahomes is good. Anything stick out to you guys? I mean, I know from our early standpoint, that's all we've taken is Eagles and Bengal money so far. Thoughts, Chris? Anything on the total? And I don't know. It's hard to find when you're down to just 2
looking at
games.
these, I mean, there's nothing that's really eye popping. I mean, but I like the Bengals. You were yelling at me on Sunday about
I ain't
Joe
yelling.
Burrow. Well,
I'm just sick of that fucker. And another thing about him after he says that about give the refunds, well, the Bengals were selling tickets to the AFC Championship at their stadium as well, so he should shut the fuck up. and I'm just tired of hearing about him.
well,
Like,
I think even with a healthy Mahomes, that the Bengals are going to win that game. And
okay,
and
good.
I'm not.
glad. I'm glad you're on the
I'm not-
Bengals.
I mean,
Makes me feel good.
so I mean, that just made so. But no, I think that game will go over the total. What is it? 47.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Cooley, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
Either game strike you as anything big? Anything
I
you
like the over in the Chiefs Bengals game as well. I got the Chiefs winning that game if Mahomes plays, obviously.
Yeah,
I think the
they're due.
Bengals defense isn't as good as they've been playing, and that offensive line.
I know I sound biased, but the Ravens should have beat them. I don't think the Bengals had any business winning that game, but it's tough to play your division mates in the playoffs. I get that. So they look good last week, much to the chagrin of Buffalo fans.
Matt, you did make a good point I want to bring up, and I think we were talking Sunday is that the Chiefs, their weapons aren't as explosive as they once were, right? Because you mentioned who they had, Juju and
Scantling, concrete hands Scantling.
Kadarius Toney and
Toney, I think, is good, but he's not really. He hasn't been in that offense long enough. He looks a little bit uncertain what he's doing. I was really actually disappointed that Sky Moore wasn't more of a.
I thought he was going to really.
He's only in every once in a while, and then they got that Watson kid who's okay. But I actually like their tight ends though. Obviously Kelsey, but that Gray kid is good too. Yeah. So and they have Bell who's serviceable. Their tight ends are pretty good. I actually like when they're on the field more, and Jerick McKinnon than I do with Juju and Scantling are out there.
There's so many weapons. They can go so many, and then you add Andy Reid to it.
Yeah,
it's.
And this is a rematch of last year's game, right?
Yeah, Chiefs owe them payback. That last year, I'll never forget. They didn't take the points, Chris, at the end of the half. Remember that? They threw that bubble screen to Tyreek Hill, and that guy tackled him.
Yeah, because it was, 21-3?
Yeah. And they would have kicked the field goal. It would have been 24-3.
Yep.
Wow. And they didn't do it, and then we knew that was going to turn the game, and it did. And then Eli Apple and Tyreek Hill. Yeah, no, Champ was furious that day. I remember it being in Abby's, and he was slamming his beer down, pissed off. And, I was pissed later, too. So he was right all along as usual. I think I'm not really sure on these totals. I'm just going to keep an eye on. I think these games could be good, worth watching in play, see how they start out. You would think that 49er-Eagle game could be a really good game in the trenches. You could see you're going to see two really good offensive and defensive lines doing battle, so maybe that trends to the under, but I don't know. Any closing thoughts, guys, before we get out of here?
I'm really excited to watch that Eagles 49ers game. I think that's going to be the best.
I think it might be the game of the year. Chris?
Yeah, I'm just, again, I'm not waiting for, but I'm just wondering if the Brock Purdy bubble is going to burst here.
Yep.
On the road in Philly is going to be hostile.
According to Nick, it will.
Yeah, everybody's waiting on him to make that one mistake, but he just hasn't done it.
But exactly. So is he just that calm, cool, and collected, and he's that good? I don't know. I think the Eagles will win that game, and it will stay under.
Okay. So Chris, I always like these stats before we go. Philadelphia 12-2-1 under last 15 games at home after playing the Giants. Now, okay, those trends are good. They obviously, like Jimmy Vaccaro says, the trends don't pay the rent, and that's why. Because how many different coaches do you think have coached the Giants in that time period? So I don't, and then the Eagles too. So those trends to me, unless you had like Belichick and I don't even know, like Big Mike when he was at the Packers, like teams that played each other with the same coach every year. It's just those always make me laugh. I thought
repeat that again, or what? Was the under?
After the Giant game, 12-2-1 to the under after the Giants at home.
What's that? Just lull them to sleep for the next week?
They must. The Giants are tough. Tryptophan, the Giants. Yeah,
like having a turkey dinner.
And then let's see what we got here. Cincinnati 13-2 ATS on the road versus the AFC West. Oh golly, that's not good. Cincinnati is 7-0 under on the road versus the AFC West. So strong trends there for Bengals and under, but again,
how does that
doesn't
really,
always work.
How does that really apply? How does that even? Like,
I don't know, because it's hard to say. Like, you play the Raiders and the Broncos are a little different than the Chiefs and the Chargers, even. So I don't know. I guess it's style play, and then just I don't know, maybe just how you match up.
Or the other thing is, it just when because gambling is so complex, you have so many different stats.
Absolutely.
Do you just look for any type of trend, even if it really makes? It has no bearing,
right?
Obviously.
And again, be skeptical with trends. Some trends are going to carry a lot more weight than others, no doubt about it. But yeah,
because it seems kind of meaningless.
Yeah, it really does. Let's see, what else was I going to say? I don't think there was any. No, I don't think that's everything. I think we've covered just about all we need to cover here, guys.
I think these are going to be great games. I'm looking forward to them. And I usually don't.
Jeez, that's a strong statement in itself.
I know, but it's going to be fun.
We will watch these games and hopefully enjoy them, as we hope you do as well. So good luck to everybody out there. We will be back here next week on Bettor's Last Stand. Good luck. Enjoy the games. Win some cash. And we will see you next week on BLS.
Peace.